The car has almost 370 horsepower. It is rear-wheel drive and it has a limited slip differential, which may sound like the perfect recipe for fun, but you also have to respect it because it's very easy to get the car to go sideways, which I will do a bit of demonstration on. Now this may look scary, but it's perfectly safe. This is the Kia Stinger GT, and this is the ultimate Kia. The Kia Stinger was a game changer for Kia. Known for producing budget cars, no one expected Kia to produce a GT car that would rival the Germans in terms of build quality and performance. The Stinger may not have sold a lot of units, but as a halo car, it was quite a success. It changed people's perception of the Kia brand, especially car enthusiasts and automotive journalists. Even the biggest automotive YouTuber, Doug Nemuro, bought one. Kia did a lot of things right with the Stinger. Let's start with the exterior. Kia may be a Korean brand, but the Stinger is a Korean-German hybrid. So the performance and handling was tuned by Albert Biermann, who was the former president of BMW's M division. And it was designed by Peter Shreyer, who also designed the Audi TT and the new Beetle. Looking at it though, it doesn't look like a copy of anything German or Japanese. It's its own little thing. It's quite unique and it's quite attractive. So the front has an insect-like look to it. It kind of looks like an ant. You have these wedge-shaped LED headlights. By the way, all the lights are LEDs, including the turn signals. Of course, you get Kia's signature Tiger Nose Grille, which is finished in dark chrome. Not sure if you can tell in the video, but it's like chrome, but it's darker, as the name implies. It's almost like gunmetal in some angles. So you get a very aggressive-looking chin. And over here you have air vents. These are real. They feed air into the wheel wells. And speaking of the wheels, the car has 19-inch wheels wrapped in Continental tires. And behind the wheels are massive Brembo brakes. So you have air vents feeding air into the wheel well, and you also have air vents drawing air from the wheel wells. These are also real. So the car has plenty of functional air vents, which makes me question why these are here. These are purely cosmetic, and they're obviously cosmetic. So one unique feature of the Stinger is that the top of the windshield is not straight. It has these indentations on the side. So it kind of looks like it has a receding hairline. So according to Peter Shreyer, the design of the Kia Stinger is inspired by a Coke bottle. And looking at it from the side, it kind of looks like half of a Coke bottle. It has a fastback design, which means that the roof slopes towards the trunk in one continuous line. Let me show you the back of the car. So the back of the car looks just as exotic as the front. It's not just a fastback, it's also a hatchback. It has a power tailgate. So over here you have 659 liters of cargo space, which is a lot, but the flooring is pretty shallow, so you can't really put tall items here. But if you need more space, you can fold the second row seats down. So down here you get quad exhaust tips. You also get this rear diffuser. You don't get a spoiler. Normally I prefer having spoilers on sporty cars, but I think it works here. It makes it look cleaner, and it emphasizes the Coke bottle curve here.
The Kia Stinger GT is powered by a 3.3-liter turbocharged V6 engine. It produces 365 horsepower and 510 Nm of torque. The engine is coupled to an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is not a DCT, it's a regular slush box. Supposedly it can do 0 to 100 kph in 4.9 seconds. The first word that comes to mind when I see this interior is Mercedes-Benz. This reminds me of a Mercedes interior, especially with these 3 circular vents at the center. Yeah, so it's a very premium looking interior. It looks like it belongs to a German luxury car. So you have plenty of premium materials here. This is leather wrapped. This is soft padded. This is soft padded. This is leather wrapped. You have a leather wrapped steering wheel with a flat bottom. So you have these metallic touches right here. I'm not sure if they're real metal, but they look and feel real. Over here you have brushed aluminum panels. Everything is dampened, as you can see. It looks nice. It's also very well appointed. You have a wireless phone charger over here. You have a 360 camera. The resolution is pretty good, although you can't rotate the view like on some other crossovers. It also has active guidelines, and you can select individual cameras over here. You have dual zone climate control. You have power adjustable seats, which are very comfortable. You get lumbar support adjustment and also thigh support. It's adjustable. And you have 2-person memory settings. So if I want to return my seat to my saved setting, I just press that button and it returns to my saved setting. You have heated and cooled seats. By the way, both front seats are power adjustable, and they both have lumbar support and thigh support adjustment. You don't get a lot of Stinger badging on the interior, which I find unusual for a Halo car. You get this GT badge over here, but you don't see the word Stinger anywhere. By the way, the cooling function of the seats is very good. You notice it right away. I feel like my back is against ice. That's how it feels right now. So you get some driver assist features here. You have rear cross traffic alert, and you also get blind spot warning. You get ambient lights on the interior. You get paddle shifters. It has Apple CarPlay. It has Android Auto. It doesn't have navigation. You can leave voice messages like,
para sa susunod na magta-test drive nito. Ako nga pala si Rico Barrera as Rico Suave sa YouTube channel. So I just wanna say congratulations to myself and to the channel and sa'yo dahil ikaw ang sumunod at narinig mo to.
Annyeong! This is Ju from Soju Cars. Congratulations for riding this nice Korean Stinger GT. Congratulations!
hi, this is Jay Walker, and if you're driving the Kia Stinger right now, I just want to say I hope you're having fun and be safe. You have a relatively spacious compartment here. You have 2 cup holders. The glove box is average sized. Yeah, that's it. Let's check out the back seat. Okay, so I'm at the second row now, and the front seat is adjusted to my height. I have about, I'm guessing that's 4 or 5 inches of legroom. I have about an inch of headroom, which is pretty good for a car with a sloping roofline. Over here you have 2 aircon vents. You don't have fan speed controls or temperature controls here, but you can control the airflow through this. Over here you have one 12-volt outlet and one USB port. You have a foldable center armrest with 2 cup holders. It's very nicely padded. I like the bolstering here. It hugs you. car has almost 370 horsepower. It is rear wheel drive and it has a limited slip differential, which may sound like the perfect recipe for fun, but you also have to respect it because it's very easy to get the car to go sideways, which I will do a bit of demonstration on. Now this may look scary, but it's perfectly safe. I'm going at a very low speed and I'll do a half throttle thingy. See what I mean? So that was just half throttle with traction control turned on and the car went sideways. I got to take the Kia Stinger to the twisties of Antipolo. So the last time I drove the Kia Forte GT here, and I would just floor that car whenever I had to overtake, even on a curve. That's something that you can't just do on the Kia Stinger. It has a lot more power, and it's also rear wheel drive, and also a lot more tail happy. If you go full throttle on a curve like this, you could end up facing the wrong way. Half throttle on the Kia Stinger feels like full throttle on the Kia Forte GT anyway. For a long wheelbase car, it feels quite lively in the corners. It's easy to get the car to oversteer, and feels quite controllable as long as you're familiar with how the car behaves. The car has adaptive suspension, so in sport mode the suspension is stiffer. In comfort mode, it is softer. Even in sport mode though, it still feels very compliant. So Kia designed this more as a cruiser, so it's quite comfortable even on rougher roads. It is a very low car though, so even if the suspension is not that stiff, it doesn't roll so much in the corners because the center of gravity is pretty low. You don't really feel the car's size until you park it. It feels agile, it feels lively. Yeah, you don't realize that you're driving a car that's the length of a 5 Series. The car has an 8-speed automatic transmission. This is not a dual clutch like on the Kia Forte GT. The shifts are pretty smooth and they're also relatively quick. Almost as fast as the Kia Forte GT. But it feels a bit more spongy because it's a torque converter transmission. It doesn't have that direct connection that the dual clutch has. I feel like this transmission is more appropriate for this kind of car though. One, because it's a cruiser, so it's supposed to be more, it's supposed to be smoother. And also you don't get that sudden shift shock when you upshift. And you don't get sudden oversteer. If you do lose traction, it's a bit more gradual. So Kia didn't just put a powerful engine in the Stinger and call it a day. It feels like a lot more thought went into the handling of the car. The performance of the Stinger was tuned by the former president of BMW's M division, and you can feel BMW's influence when you drive the car. Now I don't know what kind of lap times you'll get when you drive this car around the track, but it's not just about how fast you go around the track, it's also about how much fun you have while doing it. Even with traction control turned on, the car will allow you to go sideways. Unlike some other traction control systems which immediately cut power when you start losing traction, this car will allow you to have a bit of fun before it intervenes. This is a very driftable car, even with traction control turned on. Which is also one reason why you have to respect the car, because it can be very tail happy. I wouldn't hand this car over to a beginner without telling him what not to do first. Like, don't floor the car while you're turning because you might end up facing the wrong way. What is there not to like about the car? There's not much, but there's plenty of things to like about it. I love that it's rear wheel drive, I love the transmission, I love the interior. We could just summarize it to I love almost everything about the car except for the fact that it's so quiet. I wish the exhaust was a bit louder. The Kia Forte GT is a bit louder than this. So that's one thing about having a rear-wheel drive car. As I was powering through that turn, the rear end was just slightly going sideways, which is what they call power oversteer, and that's something that you can't do in a front-wheel drive car.
So at its current discounted price, there's not a lot of four-door high-performance saloons that you can buy. There's the Chrysler 300C, but it has less power and it's also heavier. The Civic Type R sells for 3.18 million pesos. It's also a four-door car, but it's a lot smaller and it's also front-wheel drive. Most of the competition of the Stinger are muscle cars or dedicated sports cars. The Mustang EcoBoost and the Camaro are both down by almost 100 horsepower. There's also the 370Z, which I'll be reviewing next. Unlike muscle cars or dedicated sports cars, the Kia Stinger isn't just designed with performance in mind. It can seat 5 people comfortably, it has a spacious trunk, and it has an almost luxurious interior. So who is the Kia Stinger for? I think it's for those who are looking for a comfortable and spacious sports sedan. Something like a BMW M5, but without the 15 million peso price tag.
The Kia Stinger sells for 3.3 million pesos, but Kia is currently offering discounts for this, and you can buy it for as little as 2.7 million pesos. At that price, I think it's a very attractive proposition. You get exotic styling, you get a luxurious interior, and at this price, this is the best performing car that you can get. So if you want a car that has muscle to go along with its looks, you might want to consider putting this in your list of options.
Okay, number 1 from CJ Estarona. He's asking if the Kia Stinger is better than the Civic Type R. Now, those are two very different vehicles. The Kia Stinger is a mid-size sedan, while the Civic Type R is a compact hatchback. But they're priced almost the same, so I guess that's why he's asking. Now, here's my take on it, and this might be a bit controversial. I think the Kia Stinger is a better car than the Civic Type R in almost every way. When it comes to performance, the main advantage of the Kia Stinger is that it's rear-wheel drive, and that makes it possible to do power oversteer, power slides, donuts, and it also makes it possible to drift. You can also drift in a front-wheel drive car, but you'll have to do it faster. And you may need a manual parking brake, which the Civic Type R doesn't have. In terms of interior, I think this car looks a lot nicer. It almost looks like a German luxury car. The materials, the styling looks a lot better. You also got a lot more amenities here. You got a 360 camera, you get a wireless charging pad, you get driver assist options like rear cross traffic alert. You get 2-person memory settings for the seats. You get a power adjustable steering wheel. Now, if you're into performance, you probably don't care about those things, but I think it's nice to have them anyway. And in terms of exterior styling, if you're a car enthusiast or a Honda enthusiast, you'd probably think that the Honda Civic Type R looks good. I think it looks good too, but for most non-car people, it looks like a Civic with a body kit. I think this car looks a lot more special to car enthusiasts and non-car enthusiasts alike. You don't have to be a car expert to know that this is something special. Whereas with the Type R, you'd have to know what a Type R is to appreciate it. From Unknown, I think the Kia Stinger is not just impressive for Kia. Even if we replace this with a more expensive badge, this would still look very impressive. I think this interior, the build quality is right on par with BMW and Mercedes. So in terms of performance, you can't really buy a performance BMW at this price. The cheapest one that you can buy is the M340i, which costs almost 5 million pesos. And the closest in terms of size would be the M5, and that costs more than 10 million pesos. So it's not a small price difference. It's a very wide gap. So yeah, I'm a BMW guy, but if I had 2.7 million pesos to spend, which I don't have right now, if I had that much money to spend on a car, I would definitely put this in my list of options. Yeah, so thank you for watching the video. I hope you found this informative at least, and I hope you've clicked on that subscribe button already. If you haven't yet, I would appreciate it very much if you would click on it, and also the like button, and I will see you on my next video.